Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to another episode of Christmas in July. Today we'll be creating backgrounds for our Christmas cards using the Christmas season stamp set. It doesn't have any sentiments on it, so the sentiments that I'll be using for the cards that I'll be sharing with you are from the Christmas to Remember stamp set. And the way I cut out the sentiments was using a few of these dies. And I'm going to show you right now where you can find these products in the annual catalog. These are not part of the holiday mini catalog. Go ahead and remove my paper trimmer. Okay, these are part of the annual catalog. Going to open up to page 44, or pages, I should say pages 44 and 45. Okay, and let me just go ahead and, okay, I had to unplug my, I don't have my microphone plugged in. I had to unplug my phone charger, so I hope you can hear me okay. So anyway, this is on page 44 and 45. You're going to see, oh, that got kind of messed up here. Let's see the title, Christmas Season, okay? Christmas Season, it's photopolymer, and we're going to just use them all, almost every one of these, almost every one. We're not going to use the giant pine cones, a couple of the sprigs, but we're going to pretty much use all of these. I'll show you examples in just a moment. So we have that. Now the reason, now even though this goes in like a mega suite, this last year this was part of a mega suite, then what it's called a carryover product, meaning it carried over into the annual catalog. So it was in last year's holiday catalog, the mini, the one that was July to December. And here's some examples with it. Mine are going to look nothing like those examples. Okay, I'm using more like traditional Christmas colors and things. Here's some uses of this with the cracker box. And then here's the dies. And Christmas to Remember, it says it coordinates with the seasonal labels dies. And seasonal labels dies will cut out not just these sentiments, which I love them for, but they'll cut out all kinds of things, like many of these shapes over here. But I didn't do that. I'm making card backgrounds. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you where I got all the products from, pages 44 and 45. And I already have my sentiments cut out. So we're going to focus today on the background stamping portion of this, okay, not the rest. Let me move that off to the side. So you want to take out all your reds and greens, and I'm going to break rules, and maybe they coordinate, maybe the colors don't. These do, but let's just use all your reds and greens that you have, and I'm playing with real red, old olive, garden green. Let's put the greens over here. I'm going to do crumb cake for the pine cones. We'll put that in the middle. We have a poppy parade because I wanted to make sure some of the little berries were in poppy parade and some were in real red. And then I even used a garden green because that made it sort of a translucent effect through, like when, and actually I'll show you, let me show you what I mean. It was like translucent. When I was all done doing the big things, I was able to stamp some light things on it for the backgrounds. You can also use pear pizzazz. I even grabbed out a couple of these. I'm not going to use these right now, but I did play around with them. You could use some, if that's all you have, your parakeet party and your sweet sorbet, some in colors. Usually what you want to do is use like your brights together, like poppy parade and granny apple green would go together well, and your regals together, like these guys all go really well. But it doesn't matter because we are doing Christmas in July our own way. So I need a big sheet of cardstock. You could use let's get a giant sheet. Whew, it's getting hot in here. My phone kept ringing. I said I was going live, and then my phone kept ringing. Couldn't go live. Until now, and so that's what happened to me. So I know some of you were waiting for a while. All right, now, there are no right or wrong ways to do this. It's just do it your own way. You're going to need a bunch of stamping blocks. I grabbed some that are smaller from my kits because I needed them all. I grabbed some long ones. So these are from my kits. This one's the best one. You would say stamping block D pretty much fits a lot of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own backgrounds. This is one sheet. We're going to put it on one sheet. And I already have some real red cards bases cut. So you want some real red card bases, cut either so that they're A2 cards. You could either have them open that way, or you could have them open this way. It doesn't really matter. They're still an A2 card because in the end they're 5.5 by 4 1/4. So you're going to get 4 of these out of one sheet. So we're going to just stamp a whole sheet at once. Then you're going to cut it, and you're going to have your card backgrounds. Okay, so that's what we're doing. No two card backgrounds are ever going to be the same. I'm going to show you the results of my experimentation. You might want to get some baby wipes in case we want to change colors and everything. I would say start with your darker colors and start with your bigger items first. That's my advice. And then we won't start with the pine cones. We'll use those as fillers. Let's start with some big things like these holly leaves. That's a good place to start. Okay, and like I said, some of my stuff's wet because let it dry. Let's start with Old Olive, and let's do some off stamping. Let's open up the stamp set and stamp. We're going to stamp onto the mat here. See. And I wasn't even using my sponge underneath here. I didn't really need it because if there are any messed up parts, I just simply, it doesn't really matter. If there are any messed up parts, I'm just going to turn it each time I stamp like this. And I'm just using both. I'm using the ink twice. That way I get more out of this and more shades. I almost called this video 50 Shades of Green. There were so many greens in here when I was all done. So you might be familiar with how I do the baby wipe technique. Some of them I'm just going to stamp off the page a little bit. And in my baby wipe technique, you would stamp into your stamping pad, into your stamping pad that you made with baby wipes. But in this case, I just decided to use a bunch of different colors instead. All right, so that's good enough. Now let's move on. Let's take. I'm going to get a baby wipe and just that way I can put these things away when I'm done. And then normally I would stamp a bunch of these, but I already have a bunch of these. And I'll be sharing the projects I created with these in a little while. Okay, so now let's take one. Let's take this sprig here. This one here. I took it right out of this section, just so you know. It took me to use garden green next. We'll go back to Old Olive in a little while. We'll go back to the different colors, but I'm trying to go from sort of bigger to smaller. Open up the garden green. Okay, slap that onto. You could either put it flat. You could put it flat and then put your stamping block on it like this. Oops. So it sticks. Oops. I can't see. I can't see through my camera. Or like that. So it sticks so that the flat side is sticking on the stamping block. Or you can just slap it onto the stamping block, okay? Hopefully that's not too wet. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do that again, where I stamp the different colors of garden green, stamping on and then stamping off. It's just called stamping off, or second generation stamping. And then turn your sprigs a little bit. And then also what you want to do is, this is kind of like lesson learned. I should have been thinking of this. So when you have you're going to be making your card backgrounds, right? So you want to kind of keep in mind that that's going to be a card background. So you want to make sure that this little sprig gets into each of the backgrounds of your cards, right? So that's kind of something I should have kept in mind a little bit more before. I was going to cut this paper into, I think I already stamped off onto the page. So now it's inside this part. I need a darker one over here. That way this little sprig is in at least every card. Okay, and then I'll put one there. Let's see. Now I'm just going to stamp onto my mat and just kind of stamp a couple lighter ones. I don't want as many dark ones as I want light ones because they're better. Okay, so good. Now we're moving along. Done with the garden green for now. We'll go back to the Old Olive again. Wiping this off with a baby wipe. Or your Stampin' scrub. Those Huggy baby wipes are really, there's like a soap on them or something. All right, so let's get a little bit of, get the green off of there. Because when I wash them in the sink, it takes way too long to dry. let's get some pine needles. We're going to get this pine needle here, and we're going to use some old olive again. So you can just slap it right onto the stamping block, or you can put it like that and then put your stamping block on it. I have to look through my camera, so it's like, there you go. Everything's a little distorted when you look through your camera and you're not looking straight at your table. Just so you know, if you ever do videos, it takes a lot of practice trying to see through the camera. All right, now let's do some old olive. Okay, so these are little pine needles. We're going to just do, again, stamp over there to get a good, to get your first good image. Get it all inked up. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to just go around and stamp on, stamp off. It's like wax on, wax off. If you have any parts you want to cover up from before, that's, you know, you can also stamp over them. Okay, now I need a little room at this point before I do some more pine needles. I need to do some more pine needles, but before I get into it, I need to do some pine cones, because the pine cones, I need like the bigger spaces for my pine cones. So I'll get back to that. I'm going to leave that ready to go so we can do a few more pine needles, but let's work our crumb cake magic in here. So crumb cake, it's good to use for pine cones. Like there's two layers in your pine cones. I tried the big ones. It just didn't really look right for this kind of paper background. They were too big. So I'm using the small pine, this one, the small. We have a blob. I'm going to call it like your blob of your pine cone. And then you have the detail to fill in. So you could use like, say, crumb cake and soft suede or something. But I found it was easier just to use crumb cake. Let's go ahead and put that on a stamping block. So let's put crumb cake. We'll attach it. And we're going to, oops, see, it's a little wet. It was wet. So things don't stick as well. I'm going to dry it off a little bit. So we're going to use the crumb cake. Let's put it over here. Like we're going to stamp off onto the mat and then onto here. Then we'll use crumb cake straight for the one with the details. Just put that over there for now. You'll see what I mean. So let's do crumb cake light. Let's first get... Okay, so crumb cake light. We've stamped off onto the paper. Let's put one there. It doesn't look like much, but it will when I fill in the detail. Okay, let's put this one on a different block and you'll see. I'm going to put this one on it. This is the detail one. So I'm putting the detail straight on. If that doesn't make sense, you're going to see me do it several more times. So this is two-step stamping. I love two-step stamping. We're using the detail. We're using the blob, which is crumb cake, but not straight crumb cake. We're stamping off. And then we're going like that. And then we're taking the detail one and we're taking the crumb cake straight and putting it on there. Okay, I find that's a little bit better than, say, soft suede or something where you could end up with, you know, a super dark pine cone. Okay, let's put some, and then you can just make some of these, you know, upside down in different directions. I need a bigger craft room. Okay. So now, again, going back to that, what I was talking about, my backgrounds, before I get too far, I want to make sure, so you can see here, like, that you understand. Like, so you have, and you can also do, like, dark and dark, but you want to make sure that these pine cones are tilted different directions. So let's say, you know, we have one tilted that way, and then tilt one that way. Can make that one go like that. And they can be upside down. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're just getting into our festive season here. Put that one there. So I chose this one because I used the seasonal labels a lot, you know, last year. And then this one I got neglected. So the seasonal labels dies and the seasonal labels sentiments I loved. But then I bought the whole Mega Suite last year, and I was like, it got neglected. So I was like, you know what? I bet a lot of my people, my crafty friends, oh, I made some dark. That's okay. It's okay to make a couple dark, too. But a lot of my crafty friends might have this set. So, you know, use what you have, and you can do this with other backgrounds. I mean, you could do this with other sets. I mean, not other backgrounds, other sets. Anytime you got your nature sprigs and things. Okay, that's good. I think I'm ready to put the detail in. So I'm going to put one this way. And now I'm going to go ahead and put some detail. We'll do one more kind of hanging off this edge. So this one's done, the background one. This is the background. I'm going to put the detail where I don't have to stamp off for that. Putting that one back inside the stamp set. Little green in there. Never hurt anybody. And now we're just going to go ahead and stamp over it. And it's just, like, really doesn't matter. You know, as long as you go the right side up or upside down, like, you don't have to line it up perfectly. It's two-step stamping. You're just filling in some details. See how the pine cones come to life. I just stopped by using soft suede, or like a different kind of darker brown. It would just like overpower the poor little green colors. And so I just thought crumb cake would work with this. Okay, we got that edge covered here. Let's put this. See, we need a few over here. That was the one I stamped dark. So you see how it's like dark on dark. That's what a sentiment is for. That's where you put the sentiment over the top of that one. And looks like a couple more. There's one here and one there. One hanging off the edge. And one down there. All right, so now I'm ready to fill in some more pine cones. So I didn't want to do the pine cones until I had or pine needles, I should say, until I had my crumb cake done. So let's get rid of, we're done with the crumb cake now. Let's go back to what I was doing with the old olive. We're going to put some darker pine cones around. Let's see where we can put them. One can go sort of in between there. Wherever I need little dark spots. I have a lot of light ones. I'm just going to see little dark ones over here. Let's put a dark one. Wait, this one. No, that's already dark, so I'm going to make a light one there. Okay. All right, so I got enough. I think I have enough of these kind of pine needles. I have more pine needles too. So let's go. Get rid of that. Now, we're going to go back to, we said we did some old olive a couple times. We're going to go back to garden green again. So we've done old olive twice. We've done old olive for the holly leaves, off and on. We did it for the pine needles, off and on. So now we've done old olive twice. So I think that's enough old olive, even though it's in a few different shades. Enough old olive for this one scene. We did some garden green. Let's do some more garden green. And we're going to do the other pine needles in garden green, because we need some more pine needles for our Christmas scene. So that's this one here. It's a double stamp, which is pretty cool. Meaning, you know, it's already stuck together. You can just go ahead and put it flat side up. Put her there. And the first couple times you stamp, you're just trying to get the ink to come off of your stamp set. All right. So now let's put a few of these around. So maybe there's a light section there. So I can put some darkness there, and then I'm doing something light. So let's see, where could I put some light ones? Okay. We could do a dark one here. And then a light one over there. And each time, just keep tilting it. Let's get a couple off the edge here. Yes. I'm just turning my paper upside down here. Give me a little perspective. Okay, and since I've already stamped off. I can just stamp. Now I'm just going to stamp off a couple times and stamp on. Just these are sort of just our translucent areas. When you put a light color there, kind of you can put it over the top of something else. All right, good. Now we come in with our berries, and then we'll come back with some light grainy apple green. So let's do some berries. We're going to, I think it's time for another baby wipe. Well, I'm just reusing one of these other ones. I'll tell you, Huggies has outdone themselves. They put like all this like soap all over their baby wipe. They sure do not even compare to the Dollar Tree brand of baby wipes. So we're going to use these two berries. And you notice how when you work with reds, any kind of reds, they stain your photopolymer stamps. No biggie. Let's go ahead and let's put the berries there face up like that. Let me do it again at an angle like this. So it fits on this tiny little stamping block A. And then we'll put some holly berries on this little tiny block C. We're going to use some poppy braid. Then we'll use that one, will be real red. So let's use some poppy braid. Well, here, let's put that over there. We'll just do some of each. We'll just see where we end up. We can do them both at the same time. That way we can fill in some. So let's start with the bigger berries, because you should always start with bigger items. And then you can fill in with the smaller berries. Okay, so also these can overlap wherever you need them to overlap. So we just start popping some red around. Each time turning the berries. That's too close. I don't want to put too many too close together. Like that. Now I'm sort of I'm kind of looking at my quadrants as I do this, making sure that each card's going to have a little bit of these berries in them. See. Good. I think so. My berry didn't make it all the way. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's enough of the big berries, I think. I got enough for that quadrant. Let's put one over here. That. Then we need something over here. Pop a red. Okay. So now I'm good. And we'll put some other kinds of, now we're going to use poppy braid. You see why I'm using all the different shades of greens and red? That way I'm getting lots of variety here. So Lisa's asking, when does everyone here start their Christmas cards? Good question. I know I'm starting mine. Okay, so we're going to just go in and say hi here. Kathy used the pine cone set. Yeah, there's really awesome pine cone dies with this. I did use those last year in my videos. Now I'm using poppy braid, by the way. And just putting these little dots around my paper. It's super awesome. Now I didn't use my pine cone dies this year, but I did use them last year in the video. Super awesome with some bedazzling glimmer paper. So yeah. So anyway, welcome Kathy and Diana and Caroline and Susie. So many of my VIPs are here, my team members. Yeah, Christmas season is the set. Yeah, Yvonne, hello Yvonne, and Anne, and Melissa from Texas, and Rhonda. Yeah, so Kathy's saying it looks like I made my own DSP. Right. It does look like that DSP called Painted Christmas, it's called. The DSP called Painted Christmas matches the most, or looks the most like this one. Painted Christmas. And I had that on it's in my DSP share, and I've been sharing it lately. Now I'm putting a lot more of these than I did the berries, just because I want to make sure that each card has some of this little dots in it. I'm not even hitting my stamp pad. I'm just like not looking at my stamp pad. I'm looking at my paper. All right, let's see. Need some over there. I'm just going to kind of go off the edge a little bit. Making sure. Just kind of covering some smudges too when I see a smudge. Okay, good. Now I can get in there with some translucents. And there's my, I'm going to get in there with a little bit of granny apple green. So now I'm done with the Poppy Parade and the real red. We got enough red. We got enough Poppy Parade. So even when you clean this off, they still stain, which is, like I said, it's not a problem. That's just what happens to photopolymer stamps when you use red inks on them, especially when you use red inks first. Now, if you use red inks later, like the Poppy Parade and Real Red later, like after you've used Versamark, which is like our sort of invisible ink for embossing, they don't stain as much, but they still stain. So I just jump in and do the inevitable. All right, so now what I'm going to use is this cool leaf here. I tried this one with the granny apple green. It looks pretty cool. So it's a nice big subtle leaf. Came right from here. And it's just going to be my leaf that I sort of put the light color around the background a little bit with. And if you don't have granny apple green, maybe you could use a little bit of your Parakeet Party. But you want something light, and you don't want to just stamp this directly on, because then you'd have this brightness, too much brightness. So I'm thinking, just take it out and just stamp off and then stamp on. So let's put, oops, where'd it go? It's hitchhiking. I'm going to put this one here. Okay, actually, I want to find a bigger stamping block. Let's use one of these. If you're not familiar with these stamping blocks, they're from my kits. I just needed all the stamping blocks I could get. So what I'm doing now is I'm using granny apple green for some filler. And I'm just tapping it off to make sure I get that first good image. Now, these are distinctive stamping anyway, so there's a little bit of shading built into the stamps. But I'm still want to make sure I get some good ink coverage and that there's not like a, like a piece of lint or something under there. See? Now I can just go right over the top of things. And since it's such a light color because I'm stamping off and then on, it just kind of, I call it translucent. It goes right through my other inks because it's a lighter color. And it really doesn't matter that I go over the top of things. It gives me, it's better than having to do, like, say, let me just do that. So I'm losing track of some shading or something. So I wanted some shading in the background, and I was going to do some shading. But then I thought, oh, this one might be a better way of just putting some extra colors in there. Go ahead and feel free to stamp twice. Even though I've already stamped off, stamp on there twice if you want, just to get the ink off of your. And now it looks like, you have like a pile of Christmas fun stuff that's just sort of see-through. And voila, every piece is different, but that's what we have. Now, we chop it up for our card backgrounds. Let me just get some, and I show you what I did with it. Yeah, so you guys, it's like, there's a really cool stamp that I bought, and it's something about not having stress at Christmas, and I forget now the exact sentiment, but I'll be using it soon, because it's like, Christmas can be stressful, but we don't need it to be. We can start early, and we can also, like, I do a Christmas letter, so it helps me. Cheryl's saying she starts in September. Well, there's plenty of time to order your supplies. Hello, Kay. I'm glad you made it live. Yep, I do that too. Seasonal birthday card, Cheryl. Hello, Gail from New York. And hello, Sandy, who has also started her birthday cards. And we got some spammers that have checked in. And hello, Susan and Janet. Yeah, it looks like some spammers have checked in. Hope you guys are reporting them. What I'm doing now is just putting my stamps away, because what happened is I did this earlier, and then trying to get ready for the video, I was looking all over for my stamps. They were everywhere. They were stuck all over everything. So now I'm getting the trimmer. And we want to take this and we want to turn this into card backgrounds. I'm going to move all this ink away. So let's just first do the 4 1/4. We only need them to be 4, but I'm just going to go with 4 1/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn them around and cut off this side. I'm going to make it 4. So these need to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I made them 4 1/4 first. I chopped the paper in half. And that way I got rid of the edge, because the edges usually aren't as good. My edges aren't as good as the inside of the paper. Okay, so that's 4. And these would be fun scraps too. And now we're going to make it 5 1/4. So let's just chop it 5 1/2 first. That way we have the middle piece preserved, right? This is the middle piece. So we want 5 1/4 by 4. So we got so we have 5 1/2 now. See how this is a lot more white on that side? So I just find it easier to like make this. It's easier to cut 1/4 inches off the edges, and that way I'm getting rid of the sort of the white areas that aren't as stamped as much. And voila, we have a card background that's festive, handmade, different, 100% unique, because no two are ever going to look alike. And depending on your colors you used, totally even different from mine. And you could do this with if you don't want to use traditional colors, I mean, go ahead and grab Fresh Freezer or something. Do non-traditional colors. Have at it. Like you saw, I don't know if you're familiar with my Sun Prints cards. The Sun Prints were using like Night of Navy and Pacific Point and all these like blues. And it had all these sprigs like this. So the Sun Prints would be a great one to do this backgrounds with. But you could use traditional colors with the Sun Prints stamp set. But that uses all blues. It's 5 1/4 I need, but I'm just going to cut a little bit. I don't want to cut too many of those berries off. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to... See, you're just trying to get the part that you want. So it's 5 1/4. So voila, I have my 4 backgrounds, plus my ones I made earlier, which are very similar. And now you make your... You've already cut your card bases, right? Whether you want to do it this way, these are A2 cards, so they're 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And now you put your card background on them. Okay, so you could have a horizontal card. You could have a vertical card. You can open it this way. You can attach all these and worry about what you're going to put on the card later. You can have all this part done. Instant cards, so many of them. Here, I'm showing you the other way. So you could open it this way. You could do this way. Vertical. So this is just real red card bases. And then there you got so you're tying in the real red. All these will go with real red, all these colors. But then there is real red. So you're tying in the real red. Okay, let's build a card. So we have that. Let me just maybe get rid of my trimmer for a second. Now the next step of my building the cards that I'm about to show you is, so we have this part. I'm not adhering at all. I'm just giving you the big picture so you don't lose the big picture. So we have our card background. We have some glimmer paper would look cool. This is real red glimmer paper. Stick a piece of that across, right? You know, stick it wherever you want it. Maybe you want to cover, this one doesn't really have any, here. There's maybe a little blob there. Maybe you want to put it in the middle to cover up something. Maybe you want your sentiment to be down here. So, you know, put it wherever you want. Put a piece of glimmer paper there. And then, here's a little sentiment I've already made. Friends like you make this season special. You put that on there. And some little snowflakes. I've already inked around it with some, I used my blending brush and some crumb cake. And I even tried it with, so that's using this one. Christmas to Remember sentiments. Friends like you make this season special. But you can also use another one that we used last week for Christmas in July. And that was the Christmas or the Handmade Wishes bundle. This is another stamp from the Handmade Wishes bundle. And you can put that on any of the cards. I'll show you those in a minute. I mean, I'll show you some projects we made in the rest of Christmas and July series. Okay, so that's your card. That's your instant card. Look, boom, done. And then you want to add some pearls, add some pearls. You want to add some bling, some snowflakes, add some snowflakes. And let me show you what I did. I just gotta make sure that nothing is wet or inky on my table before I show you these. Okay, so here are my samples of completed cards. I used the snowflakes. They're called adhesive backed, these guys. Here, let me find the packet. Adhesive back stars, not snowflakes. I keep calling them snowflakes. Adhesive back stars. So you can see how you could throw a few of them on there, especially if you want to cover any ink blobs. And then I used some of my pearl basic jewels. I threw a few pearls on there, a couple odd numbers, some real red and white glimmer paper, but not the white part. That's the white part. But I just used strips of 1 inch by 4 inch. This is the real red and white is the glimmer paper that comes together with real red and white, but I didn't use the white part. I just used the real red glimmer. Okay, so may this be a Christmas to remember. Inked it up a little on the edge with crumb cake. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Again, same thing. Okay, Cheryl, how do you organize, keep track of your stamp sets? I do it by season. That's how I do it. I put them in my cabinet by season. I put my Halloweens together. I put my Christmas together. But right now, what I do, Cheryl, to answer your question, is like all my new things or the things I'm doing for Christmas in July are out on top of my pile because I'm using them for Christmas in July. But the older Christmas stamps are in a different place. But the ones I'm using for Christmas in July are on the top. Okay, and there's another one. Friends like you make this season special. Okay, hi Nola, nice to see you. So these are my samples of the cards. And then I have another sample of what you could do. So while you're doing this, like while you're stamping your backgrounds, you made your paper like I showed you. Just go ahead and make yourself a little cute little box. I just took the new envelope boxes. Now I didn't do this live for you because they have a glossy sort of coating, and you need to let them dry. I let it dry for about a half an hour. So if you're going to stamp these while you're stamping your other stuff, that's fine, but don't touch them. They're very glossy coating. This is a new pack I just opened up. These are called the envelope treat boxes. Envelope treat boxes, item number 159788. This is in the new holiday catalog. So these envelope treat boxes, and I'll show you the candy I put inside. Stamp right onto it, but again, I didn't just do this. I didn't do it live for you. I did it earlier, and it dried for about a half hour. And it comes with these cute little seals that are they come off, but then you can use them again. I mean, they come off, but they're not like, oops, I did rip it a little bit. It's all good. This will probably be a prize anyway. And it just fits a lot of candy in there in the envelope treat boxes. I just put a lot of stuff. I don't have my Christmas candy yet, but I thought would be cute is after I closed it, let me show you what I thought would be cute in there. Oh, I don't have it handy, but it's peppermint lip balm. It would fit in there. It was like peppermint candy cane lip balm. Would be cute in that box. So anyway, you could put a lot of candies in this box, in these envelope treat boxes, and stamp your background onto the boxes. So it sure makes the box come alive. I mean, look, before and after, right? All right, so now what I want to do is, now that I've shown you how to make your own card backgrounds, and you've seen examples of how to use the dies, and these were the dies, the seasonal label dies, right? I didn't finish putting that on anything. Then I just want to, that's what these dies look like. They're pretty cool. Now I would like to show you what we've done for the rest of Christmas in July, in case you missed it. So just starting from the one that we did. Now these aren't in any order because Christmas in July, I'm just doing things. I'm not calling them part 1, part 2, right? Nothing like that. So Snowman Magic, there's a Snowman Magic bundle. And this is what I made with the Snowman Magic bundle with the dies and stamp set. We did this live on YouTube, so if you missed Snowman Magic, Christmas in July, here are cards created with Snowman Magic. Okay, I might not have all these by the time we finish this series, so I just wanted to show them to you now because I'm starting to give these away. I'll try to save one of them so I can refer back to it. So I like stamping. It's the most magical time of the year, right onto the designer series paper. Okay, so that was what we did in one of the Christmas in Julys. And in another Christmas in July, that was the Snowman Magic bundle. We worked with this bundle here called Christmas Wish, Handmade, I keep calling it Christmas Wishes, Handmade Wishes bundle. So this is another thing I featured in the Christmas in July. Here's the little tag you can make from it with the stars bag. Here are lots of cards you can make with it. Handmade Wishes bundle. Again, I might not have all these, but next time I'll try to videotape these and photograph these before I give these away. But I like to give my samples away for fun. And then you can use that tag punch, this same tag punch, to make a tag shape like this as well. And this is our new cracker and treat box die. And instead of featuring this in a video by itself, I just keep on showing this in other videos. But this is a really cool die in the annual catalog that I use a lot in my Christmas in July series. You can take the stamps from the Homemade Wishes. You can make your own little sentiments like that. But you can also take the stamp and make your own little cracker boxes with this background stamp. And I hope you're imagining what we could have done with this stamp today, this background paper, right? If you want to die cut when you're done that background paper, you can put that. So asking what it holds like it doesn't hold much, just Hershey Nuggets. It doesn't hold much. See, there's nothing in mine. Hershey Nugget treats, like 2 of those. Some Smarties, some lip balm, money. I mean, they don't hold much. They're really small boxes. So, yeah. I mean, here's the size of it. I mean, look, here's the size of it. I'll put it on the stamp set. See? So, I mean, it's just a matter of, it's just cuteness. Cracker boxes are made for, like, tables, and they're just cuteness. Yeah, so you missed these cute ones in the catalog. Cheryl's saying, I missed those in the catalog. I didn't get to all your comments. Hello, Denise and Be Pre. Anyway, I didn't get to all your comments, but I hope to read them again later when I go back through this and answer any questions. So, hope you enjoyed this Christmas in July episode. We will continue on this one, and I'm going to probably do I'm thinking next month I'm going to do Texture Chic as an entire workshop series because I'm not going to get to it in the month of July. And I just thought there's so much to do with it all seasons. It's an all-season stamp set, so I might use Season of Chic, that bundle. I might do a workshop. And if you're in my VIP group, you'll hear the announcement about that soon if I take the plunge and do another workshop series. I was like, I'm not going to do any more this year. But then I'm like, I might need to. All right, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.